Good to have you grill me with some questions today.
Well, yes. Well, Adam, we'll start off with question one. I mean, we all came back from Dallas, and so not you personally, but your organization promoted another consultant on your team, and that was quite a highlight. I
And
mean,
another one today, officially.
who got promoted today?
Benny qualified.
Oh, Benny. Oh, he hit his third month. Well, look at that.
He had his third month. Well, I mean, listen, nobody's announced anything yet, but he needed $60,000 and he's been averaging 180 grand.
I think that's a
So
fair.
last week, I'm sorry, he needed 40,000. Last week, within 2 weeks into the period, he was at 360. So I'm pretty sure he hit it.
That's great. I mean, 2024, and you're already two consultants up 2024. So just kind of give us your insight on that. I mean, obviously there's some great momentum happening in the Dorfman org. You've got two killer studs. Obviously, they've got killers on their team. Like, what's happening with those crews? What's happening with your org?
I wish I could take the credit, but I can't. I mean, these guys, they're very different situations. Steven, thank you. That's blinding me. I'm just kidding. You know, with Angel and Jesus, they very much do their own thing. I spent a lot of time with them in the early years. Did a lot of work with them, but they're very much their own people, and they're on a call me when you need me basis. Jesus is as D4 at this business as it gets, at every aspect of it. He knows how to promote deals. He knows how to run a powerful office. And just like all of us, we go between three and four, D3 and D4. I've had my D3 moments and I've had my D7 moments if they exist, right? Um, but Angel's somebody who really persevered. He is somebody who came into my office a long time ago as a child, really. He was like 21 years old. He was still in college. He was a student. He was working part-time, working for his brother, and obviously he opened up with Jesus. And we worked together in the office for about 4 years. And we worked together a lot. And then when he got promoted out, spent a lot of time visiting him in the early days, went to St. Louis, went to New Jersey with him. And when he came back, he and Jesus partnered up. And I'm super proud of them and I'm happy for them. It's a first in history of brothers, siblings being promoted to consultant in our business. And I think something that's going to be really cool with Benny, Benny and John are very close. And John did a lot of, that's what our business is all about. I've done a ton of work with people on John's crew, and John's physically in Phoenix, right? And so he spent a lot of time with Benny and Jolene, and I talk to him as much as I can. But that guy's just an animal, and I think it's going to be a really special thing because Benny's son's about to get promoted to ownership. And to have a father get promoted to consultant the year his son gets promoted to owner, who could end up being the first father-son consultant team in our business, is extremely cool. It's really special, and I think this year's got some great momentum. And I came back from Dallas with a lot of realizations about things that I need to do in my own business that need to get better. And came in and kind of cleared house a little bit and made some pretty drastic changes in my own office. And I think sometimes it's not what we don't know, but it's what we choose to apply or not apply. And those tough choices. I don't know. Jamie, are you on Eddie's little email list he sends out every week? Did
Yeah.
you read the story he sent out last week?
No.
It was great. Essentially, it was a guy who was a leader. It was Ed's leader. The guy's name was Jay, and Jay was Ed's trainer, hired Ed in the field, trained Ed in the field. And Ed got promoted out, passed him by. Jay was still in the office when I started, 4 or 5 months later. He trained me my fourth day. And by that I meant drop me off in the field and let me fend for myself. And ended up leaving the business a couple of months later. And he and Ed reconnected, and he was just blown away with the opportunity that he squandered. Is the very short story of it. And Ed sent the recap out because he had asked about me too. He's like, so is Adam Dorfman still around? And he's like, dude, is he doing okay? Yeah, he's doing pretty well. And it was just interesting. He sent out a quote that says there's two types of I don't remember exactly what it was, something along the lines of there's two types of pain, the pain of regret and the pain
Hmm.
of discipline. Discipline weighs ounces while regret weighs tons. And I think, you know, we've had a lot of discipline to get this year started right. And I realized I was carrying some heavy regret for letting my standards in my own business go down and letting people be in my business who I didn't enjoy being around. And it came back and shed some pounds. And it feels really good.
Hmm. And so I'm curious, you know, you go to Keys, right? I mean, you're a veteran. I mean, it's not like you just started. And so you got inspired from Keys and you come back and make some changes. Like what was it? What was said that sparked something in you? And what exactly did you do? What, you know, it sounds like you cleaned house a little bit. Maybe you got some of the wrong people off the bus, but like what else did you do in your business to change?
Well, I've been making some changes over the last couple of months in general in terms of the way that I interact with my teams and things like that. And they've been working. But as we were standing on stage and they had all the fake money that got shot out, Jamie, I literally felt, you know, I saw these $150,000 PO checks and stuff. Yeah, I love what Brennan's doing. Candidly, I think he's playing a different sport than a lot of us, and comparison's the thief of joy. So you can be competitive without comparing. So I looked at, you know, everybody else in my campaign who's not in clubs. I looked at everybody else who's not in Costco's because it is a different animal. Um, you know, my reps and my targets, and I know this probably sounds below the line, but they will talk to as many people in 5 days, law of averages wise, as Brennan's guys do in 5 hours. That's just a fact. And the way, and it is what it is. We've had the reps out there. We've done the tests. I've personally been in the field. We've seen it. And we're still doing pretty well, but I know we can do a lot better. And I'm not, again, not to be okay with second place, but I'm not shooting for 100K wire. I'm shooting for an average of $40,000 wires with a couple of deals. I feel very confident we can do that. And so as we're standing up there and we saw that money, it was fake money lying on the ground, I literally felt like I had left money on the table. I literally felt like that. I felt like there was that much real money to be had, and I just flushed it away by not being attentive enough to the needs of my business. And no offense to a lot of people in this business who walked away with some 100K, 150K PO checks and who had higher average wires than me. I can say this with full confidence. I don't think they're that much better at this business than it's not what they don't know things I don't know. They certainly don't have skill sets I don't have. It's how effective are we choosing to be, right? Jamie, you and I, you're number one, I'm number two.
Like overall
Overall revenue generated by one ICL code. You're number one, I'm number two. I know what I'm doing, right? And so I allowed the excuse of, you know, I'm an executive consultant. I've got a lot of offices. I have a lot of responsibilities to impact the leadership I had within my own office. And I delegated the direct management of my recruiting team of Sydney and Chloe to somebody who had been with me for a long time, who I realized was not rowing the same direction as me. So after 11 and a half years working with me, the person who was somebody who came through the field and went to assistant management and came into an office management role was fired last Monday. Came in, I had to come to Jesus with her the previous week, said, this is my expectation. And within 2 days, violated that and is no longer a part of my team. I'm technically probably shouldn't be talking about that, but so I'm not mentioning any names, but Gareth, I think, would probably be the only person who would know who that is. And maybe Heshan. But at the end of the day, it just wasn't working anymore. And what I realized is if she truly was in love with and passionate about building this business alongside me, this wouldn't be happening and I wouldn't feel this way. And within a week, my recruiters had the best week that they've had in 6 months. In terms of, actually, I'm at a point right now where I'm literally texting and calling owners to see who can send me a business trip next week and let me spoil 2 of their top leaders to help me train because I have so many new starts. That's the position that happened in 1 week and tough decisions. Have you ever read the book The Untethered Soul by Michael Singer? It's It's one of my all-time favorites. I don't know. I know Tony's read it. I know a bunch. I don't know if I think Gareth read it at some point. I'm not sure, but in the book he talks about, this. It tells a story. It's really an old Buddhist story, but he adapts it. And he says you're walking through the forest and you're going through stuff, and you get this thorn embedded right here in your arm, and it's hitting a nerve. So it goes in and it hurts really bad, and then it's like, wait, this doesn't hurt that bad. But anytime you touch it, it really hurts, right? And you go to the doctor and say, listen, I could take this out for you. I can't do a surgery, and I'm just gonna. It would be a very hard pull out, and it's gonna hurt so badly you're probably gonna pass out and throw up at the same time. It's gonna be horrible. It'll be the most excruciating pain you've ever felt. Or if it doesn't hurt, it doesn't hurt unless you touch it. Just don't touch it, right? The old story about the guy who goes to the doctor. Doctor, it hurts when I do this. Well, don't do that, right? So you have two choices. You can yank it out, or you can go through life. And you go through life, you make the decision, well, it's not that bad. I'll go through doors sideways. I can adjust things in my house. I can sleep a certain way so I never touch it. But what you do in that situation is you end up building your whole life around not aggravating this pain. And I think that's what most people do. They take the route of the familiar. It's like staying in a shitty relationship because you're comfortable, right? And that's what I realized I was doing, is I was allowing some people to skate by in my office. I was allowing this relationship because I did value this person, and I wanted them to be happy, and I wanted them to have a job, and I wanted them to have an income. But at the end of the day, I'm paying somebody, and it is negatively impacting every aspect of my business by continuing to work with somebody who's not madly in love with building it.
Yeah.
That was it. Came back, bottom line, a couple people stepped up, a couple people stepped out. In the meantime, I've got 9 entry-level guys right now with 5 more starting Monday.
Yeah.
Same recruiters, same office space, same campaigns, same ads.
Yeah. It's just interesting, Adam. A lot of people came back from Dallas with the same piss and vinegar, right? They're fired up with, like, you're seeing all these people parading on stage, picking up 6 figures. I did not expect you to be one of those guys that, got totally fired up from that, considering, the millions that you've made in this business yourself.
Yeah, I mean, listen, my overrides, I don't need to run an office, right? But I said a long time ago, platinum was my goal. And realistically, I think I've probably got 2 to 2.5 years of running an ICL left. And I certainly don't want to just let the clock expire. I want to go out and dominate. Doesn't mean I'm leaving the business. I love the business, but 9 first-gen deals, I'll have 13 by the middle of next year. If I get to the point where I've got 13 deals, 10 promoting owner first gens, and I'm in a spot where my org's doing, 850, 900 grand a week, I feel pretty confident that it's an okay time to step back a little bit and focus more on the org.
Yeah. Awesome.
But I don't want to just peter out, man. I don't want to go out in a way where it's like, guess he got too old to do this.
Yeah, so shifting gears here a bit, Adam, considering retail's your baby, I mean, you were the guy that, slugged it out back in the not so fruitful days, so to speak, and there wasn't a line of people trying to get onto retail at the time either. I mean, you were
Couldn't recruit people to save our lives.
Right. So, you're in the know. I mean, where's retail going to be the next 3 years? I mean, if you had to paint the picture for us, obviously we know Best Buy is somewhat of a game changer for us. I mean, there's a lot of people talking about that and the numbers coming out of Best Buy, but where do you see retail the next few years?
Obviously, we're going to continue to grow. AT&T's doing huge things. We're going to continue to grow with them. But I think we're finally in a space between Costco and our relationship with them for roadshows and things like that, where we can really start bringing the multi-product idea similar to Connect Me Better to retail. And it's something that we've talked about since day one on this program, is how do we figure out these relationships directly with the retailers. And we're working hard to create a great relationship directly with Target. We're working hard to create a great relationship with Costco, with Walmart. And I think it's going to be a huge thing. The other big thing that we've been crushing, absolutely crushing, is credit cards. So back to your early days, Jamie. I don't know if you ever did credit cards. I know Brandy did for a while, but a big piece of our retail program, I think, in the next 2 years, credit cards may be 50% of our retail business. Could be 150 to $200 million a year doing credit cards. Because as one of the things that we've noticed is as stores, I will give you an example. One we're testing with is Michael's, like the craft art supply store. As these stores go to 80 to 100% self-checkout, what do we think's going on with their store credit cards? They're tanking, right? And they make money on it. It's a big money maker. More and more self-checkouts, right? You go to the grocery store, you go to Kroger, you go to Albertsons, you go to Fry's, you go to Whole Foods. Self-checkout, self-checkout. You go to Walmart, self-checkout. Well, these store credit cards at places like Ross and Burlington and Marshall's, Michael's, Bass Pro Shops, they're a huge moneymaker. And it is way more cost effective to pay one third-party labor rep to stand in the store and get customers excited to sign up for credit cards than it is to pay 7 cashiers and hope they do it. So I think the credit cards are going to be a massive piece of our future. And obviously we're going to continue growing with energy and telecom. I think there's lots of cool stuff we can do.
Yeah, it's exciting. I mean, interesting, right? As we're watching this shift of this whole self-checkout thing, and I mean, my parents and their friends are like, what is going on? We're the customer paying, but I mean, it's kind of a foregone conclusion. I mean, I think even Amazon stores, they've got your palm print and stuff, and you can just grab stuff off the shelf and leave. You don't even have to check out. It's all censored. I mean, so this is the new world.
Have you signed up for the palm print yet? I haven't done it yet. It freaks me out.
No, I figure they got enough information on me. You don't need any more.
Yeah, I figure they got everything anyway. I pay with my phone, right?
Yeah.
And I get an ad for whatever I just bought.
Yeah. I'm prepared to give them a urine sample, but I don't know about my palm print. I'm not there yet, Adam.
Yeah, I'm not. My wife does it. I'm like, go for it, man. But she's at Whole Foods more than I am. And for me, I don't know. This doesn't take that long.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know.
And so I'll give you one more question, then I'll open it up in the sake of time here. But your thoughts for owners on the vitals. Like, what are the vitals that owners got to be great at? There's no compromising these things, whether it's 2 or 3. Like, if we're your owners, what are you telling us? Jamie, be great at these areas. What are those areas?
I mean, it's no different than what it takes to be a great rep. You got to be able to set the pace in the field. I don't care how long you've been in the business. Not this past August, but the year before, I was not happy with where my business was at all. We were averaging about 12K wires. And I went out and spent 3 months, 3 days to 4 days a week in the field, August, September, October. Humbled up, hadn't been in the field in a while, sharpened my saw, went out with my guys, Jamie, Sophin, and Jim. They helped me, they retrained me. So staying connected and close to the thing that makes you money is critical. I don't care how long you've been doing it. I got up last week and let an objection circle in my office. I'm on the field very often, but I stay really sharp. So you got to stay sharp in the field. And if you ever start thinking that the field is beneath you, pack up your office and go work on your resume. That's my advice to you. If you run an office, if you're a consultant and you don't run an office, Jamie's position, whatever else, I would still recommend hop out there for 1 day every 6 months just to stay in the game. Remember what it feels like. I think it's very easy sitting in a really nice house, driving a fancy car, coaching your kids on the weekends, taking, having lunch with your wife on a Wednesday, which is what I do every Wednesday, right? Like, I mean, this is what I do. I'm taking my kids to theater practice. I'm working with them on their vocal stuff. I'm working with them on music stuff. I'm working with, just like Jamie coaches, you coach your kids with sports. I coach my kids with music, right? And I coach my kids with academics. And every Wednesday that I'm in town, Laura and I have lunch together. We go to lunch date, just the two of us, because we get the fuck away from the family. As much as I love my kids, it's my time. I love them so much. I never want to be away from them when they're home. So I go and have Laura and I have our lunch date every Wednesday at noon, when from 11 to 1:30, that's our time every Wednesday, because that's our time where we can be together without having to sacrifice time with our family, right? We like our family dinners. Doesn't mean we don't ever have a date night. We do a couple, once, twice a month, we'll go out on a Friday or Saturday night, but we really like our time together. But it's easy when you're in that position to forget what it feels like to go out and get told to go fuck yourself, 70 times. And so I think it's really important to stay in that, staying very sharp on your recruiting, do the things that you're best at, manage your recruiters yourself. That was a big mistake I made. I was allowing there to be a conduit between myself and my recruiting team. There's not one anymore. I'm doing it all. I hired somebody to take this person's place, and she's awesome, but they all three are at the same spot. They all three report to me. There's no intermediary, right? And the person I hired is extremely experienced and makes a really good salary, and I'm very confident in them. She's been in the business before. She worked for Brandy a long time ago. I've known her for 10 years. She worked for Brad Park at Applicant Starter for a while. You know Kaylin Gibson?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Kaylin started with me on Monday.
Oh, great.
And I made the decision to pony up real money to hire somebody who's a real operator. And I know what it's going to do for my business. And if she hits her goals this year and we hit our goals as a company, she'll make $100,000. And I got absolutely no problem paying that. And it's not coming out of my overrides. It's coming out of the business doing so well, it's going to count. Now, a little piece of of what I pay her does come out of my overrides, because she does the things that I don't want to do, that frees me up to do the things that only I can do. Right? I can't hire somebody to do a call for Benny and Jolene's crew. Can't hire somebody to do a call for by Thursday mornings, I do 4 or 5 Zoom calls back to back to back, right? Can't hire somebody to do that. My Wednesdays, Tuesdays, I'm doing the same thing, doing one-on-ones. Can't hire somebody to do that. So a little bit of my overrides from my organization goes to pay somebody to process my new hire paperwork, deal with tablets, order shirts, pass out paychecks, because she can do that really well. She can do second interviews. I do my finals. And when you get this in line, do the things that you make the biggest difference doing. So for most of the people I see on this call, that's going to be going to the field, personally hiring somebody, training them to leadership, having them over, building a relationship with them, daydreaming with them about their future, just like you did to get promoted, and then doing it over again. When I see owners put more work into getting their business than running their business, it's like somebody who tells me that their wedding is the greatest night of their life. Maybe so far, but if that's the case, you're screwed. I got married when I was 25. I hope to live to be 100. So 75 years of shittier nights is not what I'm hoping for.
Well said.
Thanks.
Never quite heard it said that way before, but it makes a lot of sense. That can't
It's as simple as it can be, right?
that can't be the pinnacle, right? And it's all downhill from there.
All downhill from there. No way. I'll tell you what, went to Cabo with my kids for spring break a couple weeks ago. I texted you from there on your birthday, right? Every single night I was there was better than my wedding night. Watching my daughter rappel down a 200-foot rock face was better than my wedding. Going out to dinner with Laura and the kids at this badass like Michelin star restaurant and watching the kids enjoy it, that was better than my wedding. Right? And the goal is to keep making them better. Laura and I's 20th anniversaries this year, our 25th together. That was our family trip. We're going to Italy and Switzerland for 10 days this summer. Every one of those nights should be better than my wedding. So we should all work harder to run our company than we did to get it.
A lot of gold on this call. We should all work harder to run our company than we did to get it. Stay close to the thing that makes you money. Yeah, a lot of great stuff. So
one other thing is if you're in shape, stay in shape. If you're not, get in shape. I know I don't have to tell that to Dean and Gareth. These guys are animals, but man, it's made a huge difference in my life.
Yeah, you don't want to, I read many moons ago, like a lot of people in America, they trade their health for wealth. And then when they get older, they then trade their wealth in for health. And it's like, hey, make sure you're not that guy. It's like, oh, that makes sense. You got to take care of your body while you're going through this journey, because you don't want to trade your wealth for health, no question.
Great way to look at it.
So any questions here for Adam, guys? He's dropping lots of gold. He's given us some great stuff. I appreciate you, Adam.
Loving it. So thanks for having me. I love doing this. Anybody?
Hey Adam, I have a quick question.
Hey, Alice.
Hey, what do like, because right now we have a system of from entry level promote to ownership. What's your system from like newly promoted owner to promoting owner?
You follow the tiers. It's it. If you're tier 4, if you're under 10 guys, $10,000 wires, under 10 leaders, $10,000 wires, you're in the field 4 days a week. You're in the office 2 to 3 days a week. And it's mission critical. Personally interviewing people, hiring them, training them yourself, getting them promoted to leadership, challenging your guys to be the first person in your office promoted to assistant manager. You get to 10 leaders, 10K wires, drop a day, do 3 and 3, 3 days in the office, 3 days in the field. One thing that we do in my office, because everybody tells me that I gotta be in the office all day doing interviews. No, you don't. I haven't done a prelim in years. We just interview people. This whole system of like, we do things this way because it's how it's always been done. We don't do prelims in seconds. We just do interviews. We interview people. So if I get Jamie Hep's resume, like, man, this guy seems like a stud. Sydney calls him, explains the business, gets him pumped to come in. Hey, my hiring manager has openings tomorrow at 11 or 11:45. Which one works for you? That's it. And we designate a 45-minute window for him. Hold on one sec. If so, right? And then what we do is we book a shitload of interviews between at 11 and again at 11:45. My senior, and that time in my office is like break up into leaders meetings, and it's like games and practice pitch. So I've got a couple of senior leaders who conduct interviews. I don't have people interviewing until they have 2 leaders in their team. I do it a little bit differently, but they do this. And so we can conduct 10 interviews, which are the equivalent of second interviews, between 11 and 12:30. 10, which means everybody then goes to the field at 12:30 and they're in the field till 7. So these days of like, I need to be in the office all day long so that I can interview and grow my business, that is absolute poop. That's ridiculous. It doesn't make any sense to me. Now, if you're Benny and Jolene, and between you, you have 84 people in the office, yes, you absolutely do. And by the way, you don't need the money from going in the field. And by the way, you also probably have some people in the field who can go out and train. But until the person is there, you're that person. You got to remember, if you look around the office and you don't see that guy, stop looking around, go buy a mirror and look there. You'll find the guy. And then, and then that's it. Just continue to do the thing that got you there. It is not hard. This business is not complicated. Frequently, the most successful people in our business aren't the brightest because they don't overthink shit. I think when we try and figure it out, we forget that all we have to do is do it.
Thank you.
Sure. Anything else, guys?
All for questions for Adam? Something tells me you got to go. You're getting probably pinged.
No, we're good. Zoe's emptying the dishwasher. She texted me, she has an iPad. She has a phone, she has an iPad, and she's like, are you on a call? Because if not, I'm going to play music real loud.
Nice.
But I was like, just play music. I don't care.
At least they ask you.
Yeah. Maya's at rehearsal, so Zoe's here. It's just me, her, and Laura tonight. What else we got? All right, well, guys, thanks so much for having me. If you got any more questions, you can always text me. I'd love to hop on anytime. Jamie, I think I'm going to ask you to return the favor here in a few weeks on a Monday. On a Thursday. I moved mine to Thursdays too. I forgot.
Yeah, be my pleasure, Adam. We appreciate your insight, your wisdom, your tenacious spirit as well too. So love it, Adam. Thank you so much.
Thanks, bud. Always great seeing y'all.
See you guys.